What's up, guys? Mike coming to you again from down here in the dungeon. Ignore my shiner over here. You should really see the other guy. No, I'm kidding. It's some kind of an allergic reaction. I'm not sure what it is. I have a lot of allergies. So shit, I don't know what it is, but it does suck. It looks like somebody walked me in the eye, but no, I would prefer that actually. So I got this weird, I've been into this weird, it's not really weird, just different stuff for me, as over the past probably couple of months, like I've been really interested in like learning more about what we know about the universe, which is almost nothing. But also another thing that I've really gotten a little bit more interested in recently is like evolution, and then like dinosaurs and stuff like that. So when I say evolution, I'm talking about like the theory of how species evolve, not necessarily like the origin of species. I think that's like, I'm not talking about like single-celled to multi-celled. I'm talking about like how species change over millennia and all this time, right? But here's the one thing, that really is kind of like mind-blowing for the whole religious community, right? What about the fucking dinosaurs? What about the fucking dinosaurs? How do you explain that shit? As far as I know, this shit is not explained. It's not explained in any religious text. So if you take these texts as literal, what the fuck do you do with the dinosaurs? Now, I already know some of what people are going to say. The most craziest people are going to say that the dinosaurs are a conspiracy and that they're made up. That the Smithsonian has made up dinosaurs. And these are also the same people that believe that there were like 40-foot giants and all of these crazy skeletons that the Smithsonian and all this stuff is covering up. Okay. Maybe, but it's probably easier to like hide things than it is to like make up new things, right? Like, why would they make up dinosaurs? All right, like that doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. Okay, and people will say, "Oh, well, these are bones of different animals, and do they look that way? Do they look that way? Come on, man. Let's use our brains here. Let's get out of the conspiracy world, and let's just simply talk about it. What the fuck do you do with the dinosaurs? Where do the dinosaurs fit into this shit? Okay, let's talk from a Christian perspective. Okay, now, from that perspective, there are some other answers, right? People would say that the dinosaurs died in the flood. And that humans were around with dinosaurs and that dinosaurs died in the flood. A couple of problems with that. First off, there's no mention of dinosaurs in the Bible. People will say, well, Leviathan and all this shit. Look, okay, maybe you could say that these creatures that are mentioned are dinosaurs. But there's a lot of fucking dinosaurs, a lot of them over, and they ruled the world for like longer than, like, for example, I'm pretty sure that we now are closer to the Cretaceous period than the Cretaceous period is to the Triassic period. That's how long we're talking millions and millions and millions of years. Okay, and people will say, oh, well, the dating is wrong. Okay, well, look, I see the motherfucking bones. And if you're telling me that these bones are what, 6,000 years old, it's a lot of bullshit, man. It's a lot of bullshit. And it's like, you really got to spin it, dude. You really got to spin it. Okay, something else Christians would say would be that humans and dinosaurs were together. Like they lived simultaneously, and at some point the dinosaurs were wiped out, like in the flood, or what you might think of as like, say, a pre-Genesis type civilization, and then Genesis comes along and God's hovering over the face of the deep because the earth has already been destroyed once. And that was when the dinosaurs were. And apparently man was back then too. Or you could maybe think that God created dinosaurs and he was like, never mind. For whatever reason, right? But the problem with humans existing with dinosaurs is, do you know how badass these motherfuckers were as far as like killing things? So if you watch the movie Jurassic Park, they have you believe that the Tyrannosaurus Rex can only see if you move, but that's not true. All right, science has shown. I'm assuming this is a scientific fact because this is where I got it from. Was the scientist was that the Tyrannosaurus Rex had better vision than a modern day hawk. Okay. All right, and that it could smell better than like a modern day, I don't know, like a bloodhound. You ain't fucking surviving that, dude. Not only can it fucking smell you better than like anything else. No, not a bloodhound. It was a, what are those birds? Turkey vulture. A turkey vulture. All right. Let me tell you a story about a turkey vulture. One time we went, I probably shouldn't tell this story. I'll tell it anyway. One time we went duck hunting and we shot some ducks. Right? We went out and gathered them. We brought the ducks back to our blind. And then, I'm telling you, maybe 30, 45 minutes later, an entire flock of turkey vultures, I'm talking like 50 of them, came and flew at us and landed in the tree right behind us. They could smell these few, I don't know, it was probably 6 ducks that we had killed. Dude, we just killed these fuckers. It's not like they've been sitting here rotting. They knew that we had killed them. Like they could smell this fresh blood from, I don't even know how far away, at least a mile away. So think about a dinosaur that's the biggest dinosaur, the biggest, like by weight and size dinosaur, the carnivorous kind of dinosaur that's ever lived, okay? That can smell better than a turkey vulture and can see better than a hawk. That's a fucking killing machine. Humans can't. You'd have to go underground, I guess. But then what would you do when you came out? I mean, I don't know, man. You'd have to be living in a state of like absolute terror all of the time. Like if you dropped into Jurassic Park with a real life Tyrannosaurus Rex, you ain't getting off that island. Anyway, I thought that was pretty cool. Pretty cool. Information about T-Rex anyway. The baddest ass predator that's ever lived, I would assume. But what do you do with the dinosaurs? What do you do with them? It's obviously all died off or they evolved into birds. A lot of them did evolve into birds. I know that's like weird to think, but like our modern day birds are closely related to a lot of the dinosaur families. Okay. But dinosaurs aren't covered in the Bible, not covered in the Quran as far as I know. These things aren't there. They're not there. I've even heard wild speculation that it was the fallen angels. The fallen angels fell to earth and then they bred with the animals. And then they became like these corrupted, awful creatures. This is some Ken Ham, young earth creationists, just like we have to make everything fit this narrative that we believe with no evidence, And I'm not, look, I'm not one of these believers of like single cell to multi-cell and all this other shit. I don't know. It just doesn't make any sense. The dinosaurs just don't make any sense. They don't fit in the narrative. And this is something even as a Christian that I struggled with. I was like, I believe in God and I believe in Christ, his son that died for our sins, and I believe the Bible is inerrant and true. But where do the dinosaurs, right? Dinosaurs, right? And all the apologist arguments, they're all just bullshit, man. They're all just bullshit. They don't really... Right. So like we have dinosaurs, and they're not mentioned anywhere, and they're not. It's just not. I don't know. What is that? What is that? I'll tell you what it is. It's that the Earth is not young. The Earth is old as a motherfucker. It's old as it's older than the oldest motherfucker ever. It's old. And these creatures were around, and I believe the reason that they evolved the way they did, and that they were such as big as they were, is because the conditions on Earth back in those millions and 250 million years ago were way different. You know, the concentrations of oxygen and nitrogen and things in the atmosphere was completely different. You know, the Earth itself, you know, I mean, if you think like Pangea and this stuff, the Earth didn't look anything like it did back then. The sea levels would be completely different. You know, just where the Earth, you know, where the masses of Earth would have been on the planet, you know, closer to the equator or farther from the equator, etc. Like, it's just, it was a completely different world, Volcanic eruptions causing all kinds of like climate change, like real fucking climate change, and greenhouse effects and all this other shit, that the world was completely different, not even suitable for humans. But it was suitable for these giant ass fucking lizard looking creatures, which are not lizards, they're dinosaurs. But, you know, and they survived in that, and a lot of them thrived. But and then they died off due to, you know, probably extraterrestrial events. You know, some events on Earth, but also extraterrestrial events. You know, a comet smashing into the Earth, or meteor, or whatever, you know, the same thing that could happen to us. You know, I think we've almost gotten to the point where our technology is enough to prevent that. But, you know, we're lucky now that we are closer to be able to prevent it. You know, if something like that would happen 100 years ago, damn, man, humans could have been completely fucking wiped out, like the dinosaurs were. Well, let me rephrase that. The dinosaurs weren't all wiped out. There were some survivors. Mammals survived. You know, some of the dinosaurs did transition into birds and things like that, according to the scientists. I wasn't there. I didn't see it. I'm not that old. But, you know, the big thing with, you know, Christians especially, young Earth people and apologists, what about the dinosaurs, bro? What about the dinosaurs? Don't give me this Leviathan shit. I think that if you go and you look up the ancient Hebrew and you look at Leviathan and thing, I don't think that you're getting to, you know, I don't think it's going to lead you to giant lizard creature. No, it's something else. It's something else. It's probably something supernatural. And I don't mean that I believe in the supernatural. I don't know. I'm open to it. But I'm talking about what it, you know, is talking about there in Job about Leviathan and that. And I think it talks about it in John's Revelation 2, which may or may not have been written by John. Y'all need to look into this shit, man. Y'all are so fucking brainwashed. But, man, it's wild, though. The dinosaurs, huh? The dinosaurs. Imagine how fucking long ago and how different things were, you know? And, like, you know, it's pretty cool. Maybe one day they'll like bring one back to life. I just hope that they make it like a small one or something. You know what I mean? or you know, I don't know, like something that isn't going to take over and kill everything. But who knows if a dinosaur could even live in these conditions that we have now? You know, maybe they require certain levels of oxygen. I think that I heard that the oxygen levels back then were way, way, way higher, which explains why these things were way bigger. You know, I don't know, maybe it couldn't even live now. It's like, it comes out of the egg and it just suffocates, which actually wouldn't happen anyway, because I think the eggs breathe. You know, eggs breathe oxygen? I'm pretty sure they do. I think I heard that somewhere. I could just be talking shit. I could be talking shit about all this. I don't know. I didn't live around the dinosaurs. Maybe they're all fake. Maybe they're all made up. Maybe all the giants are made up. Maybe everything's made up. Maybe the aliens. Maybe it's aliens. Maybe God is an alien. Maybe God really existed. Maybe Satan was a lizard. Maybe Satan was a dinosaur and he had legs. And then God cursed him and took his legs off. And that's where all the dinosaurs went. Maybe all the dinosaurs were just Satan and then they all went away. Maybe they're hiding in the earth. They're hiding in the earth. They're just waiting for us to let them loose. Oh God, and then they're going to take over. It's going to be Armageddon everywhere. See how crazy y'all motherfuckers are? But maybe you're not crazy. Maybe that's really what's going to happen. Maybe we're all going to die. The dinosaurs are going to come back and they're going to kill us all. They're really evil spirits. Oh God, you know, and the lizard people are going to get us, and the Greys are working with them. Oh God. I don't know. I'm making fun of you, but I don't know. I hope not. Or at least I hope it doesn't happen in my lifetime or my children's lifetime or my children's children. Wait till my seed is gone, you know, and then bring the dinosaurs back. You know, I guess by then I could give a fuck. But anyway, I'm going to try to keep this short. The problem is, Christian man, explain to me the dinosaurs. Explain them to me in a believable way, in a way that isn't filled with a bunch of bullshit. If you can do that, then I don't know, I'll listen. But as far as I know, nobody has explained the fucking dinosaurs. They died in the flood. They died in the flood. Maybe a flood, but the biblical flood, I doubt it.